Okay, the audit activity. Living away from home allowances, the ATO have clearly stated they're looking at that. Motor vehicles, they're looking at all motor vehicles that are registered in a company name. They're cross data, checking that for the 2012 year onwards. So they're looking at those items. Now in the tax return, just to give you an idea, how does the tax office actually know what we're doing? If you have a motor vehicle in a company return, so first of all, they go to RTA, yep, you've got a company car. The next thing they're going to look at is within the income, the tax return, there is a little box there called motor vehicle expenses. If you don't have anything in that box, and potentially there's a bit of an issue, they might think, oh, well, maybe they put it in another box, we'll give them a call and find out. So it's important that if you have an item that says motor vehicle expenses and it does sit in that box, the first thing then that the ATO will be asking is, well, if a company owns a motor vehicle, 9 times out of 10 there's got to be fringe benefits tax. Unless it's an exempt vehicle, there's got to be fringe benefits tax. So they'll then have a look at the other part of the income tax return, that is employee contributions. So, well, I wonder if any employees have made any contributions. So they start gathering the data at the income tax level, and then they'll cross-check that to the fringe benefits tax return, because in the fringe benefits tax return you also have these boxes that state motor vehicles, etc. So looking at if you're a profit entity, if you're a not-for-profit, you're probably a little bit lucky there, they will look at these boxes and that's where they'll begin their cross-checking. So just be mindful, if you have a figure in there, you may want to lodge an FBT return. You may want to just do it so that you set the date that the tax office can't go back in time by lodging a return, whether it's a nil return or whether it has a small benefit, because that will stop then the years that the tax office can go back and look. If you haven't lodged one, they can go back as long as they want. Okay, employee contributions. The biggest thing I've found in GST audits is that they will pick up GST on employee contributions and they'll realise that hasn't been paid. So just make sure that you include the GST on contributions. Certain contributions are not subject to GST, and look, very rarely will it apply, but substantiation is the key. I've got a list of items here that detail what substantiation you need to just ensure that you're not going to find that you're under audit activity and can't support the transactions. Right, that's pretty much 9 o'clock as promised. I did rush through some of those slides, not to say they weren't important. If you do have any questions, more than happy to take any questions. Alternatively, I'm sure your next year advisor would be more than happy.
Sean, Mum and Dad own a company, they're directors, they're shareholders, and they also are employees.
Yep.
They take a decision to pay their business expenses on an Amex card.
Yep.
To get frequent flyer points.
Yep.
And those frequent flyer points are then used for private travel. Does FBT apply?
Oh, thanks for the tricky one.
That's right.
Look, I don't think it does. I'm not sure. Look, I don't know the answer to that. Is there a benefit being provided? You've got the frequent flyer points, but I don't know whether there is. I do recall. I'm sure there is something on the OT, but I don't think. No. So there you go. Pay for it with your credit card, and you'll be right.
It's a nightmare, but
yeah, you might get the points.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? No? Yes, Tom.
Yeah, question. I know that some clients often ask the minor benefits. Take, for example, the Christmas parties.
Yeah.
Does that apply just to the, like, say if the firm says the employee and their partners?
Yeah.
Does the $300 apply to both the employee?
No, it's per person now. So yeah, there used to be a rule that you have to aggregate everything across. Well,
yeah.
Lump it all, even with gifts. But now you can do it on a per person basis.
Per person. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, and I'm sure there's still a little bit of food out the back there if you want to take some refreshments.